Greetings to everyone. You're welcome to our CV session where we teach you how to write professional CVs, how to write cover letters. Then we also educate you about entrepreneurship. Then we also talk about career paths. So stay back, relax, and enjoy this session. Thank you for listening. Welcome to our CV training session where we educate you on how to write good and professional CV. So we call it CV writing. Now, the first thing we want you to know is that there are two basic kinds of CV. There are various kinds of CV, but there are two basic kinds of CV. The first kind of CV is called chronological CV. Some people call it traditional CV. So you can call it chronological or traditional CV. Then the second kind of CV is called skill-based CV. Skill-based or functional CV. These are the two major kinds of CV. We have chronological or traditional CV, skill-based or functional CV. So we are going to take our time and show you what a chronological CV, what a chronological CV looks like, and then what a skill-based CV looks like. So, but before we show you what a chronological CV looks like, there are certain corrections we need to put here in writing CV. Now, there's this thing people say about writing CV. CV should be 3 pages, 5 pages. CV does not have a particular number of pages. It is your information that determines the total number of pages. If your information is 7 pages, you can go ahead and put 7 pages. It's what you have that you put in your CV, no fixed page. Then there are questions about resume or CV. Resume, CV, all of them, they are CV. So that should not be our issue. Then another thing we need to note again about writing CV is that on no account should you use one CV to apply for 50 jobs. Some young people do that. If they have one CV, somebody will just say, hey, do you know that EFCC is recruiting? They'll say, please send me the link. They will send them the link. The same CV they have, they'll send it to EFCC. Somebody will call them, there's one NGO recruiting. They will send the same CV they send to EFCC to that NGO. Somebody will call them again and say, okay, there's one private firm that is recruiting. They will send their CV again to a private firm. The same CV. Now, you see, if you're doing that kind of a thing, you're definitely going to find it difficult securing a job. Why? Because CVs are supposed to be written based on the particular job you're applying. So we are going to teach you how to write your CV based on the particular job you're applying. So let's start with the chronological kind of CV, where we start by your personal information, your educational background, your working experience, and then every other thing. So we start. So let's assume now we are having somebody that uses 3 names. Let's assume this person, his surname is Francis. That's his surname. And his middle name is Basi, and he has his first name as Idris. Now, this person is using 3 names. If you look at what we have here, this is Francis, Basi, Idris. Now, whenever you submit your CV, you're not there to explain your CV to the people, the organization you submitted your CV to. You submit and then you leave, right? Now, when you submit, do you know that this comma here means that this is your surname? So you won't say, oh, sorry, I made a mistake. Oh, this is my surname. Oh, this one is my... They don't make mistake. Once you put comma at the first name, you are telling us that this is my surname, this is my middle name, and this is my first name. So make no mistake. Just learn carefully and avoid mistakes. All right, now, how about a case where somebody is making use of 2 names? Like somebody's name is just Francis Basi. What happens? Look at what happened. For Francis Basi now, no more comma again. No more the third name, because this person is using only Francis Basi. Now, as far as we are concerned, if we see this kind of CV, this is the person's surname, and then this is the person's first name. So the person has the surname and the first name. So this one, we have settled the issue of name. Then we go to issue of basic information like your address. You see where I'm putting the address under the name. You write your address here. You write your phone number here. You write your email address here. Then you write your social media handle. These days, they are requesting for social media handle because most people are now having social media handle, their Facebook handle, their Twitter handle. They do ask for it now if you do have, because they can contact you via your social media handle. Then this one now is being said. Then the next thing we have here now is what we call personal information. there's something I want you to take note in the way I wrote this personal information. This personal information I wrote, if you observe, you see the P is capital P, while the I is capital I. This shows that I can no longer leave it without underlining it. If I write personal capital, information capital, then I can't underline it again. But because I wrote, they call it the cap. The first one is capital, here is capital, so I have the right now to underline it. These things look very simple, but they take note of them when you submit your CV to be sure that you understand these little things. Now, personal information, what kind of information come under personal information? Your date of birth. So I'll call it DOB, date of birth. Your place of birth. State of origin. Local government area. Nationality. Marital status. Religion. Gender. So I'll read it out so that you hear clearly what we are saying. Under personal information, we have date of birth, place of birth, state of origin, local government area, nationality, marital status, religion, and then gender. You see, by the time you give anybody this information like this about you, automatically this person has gotten certain information about you. Anybody who gets this, know your name, your address, your phone number, and up to this point, the person has gotten certain information about you. So this is what the organization wants to do. They want to get certain information about you. It's important to them. So once this information has been captured in your CV, the next thing now you now tell us is what some people call professional profile. Others call it career objective. So whichever you call it, whether you call it career objective or professional profile, is still very okay. So let's assume we call it professional profile. So what do we want to see under professional profile? Under professional profile, we just want you to tell us about you in a sentence. Tell us, when I say tell us about you, I mean tell us about yourself in a sentence. Tell us why you are applying for this job. Now, you understand why I told you earlier that somebody cannot use one CV and apply for different kinds of jobs. Do you know why? Because you will see what we are going to do under professional profile now. Assuming that this person studied economics, for example, and the person came out with second class upper, CV is an opportunity for you to sell yourself. So those people that like to brag about themselves, the best place for you to brag about yourself is in the CV is allowed. In fact, that's what they want you to do. So now you can come here and say, I am a second class upper. You see, this person now wants to tell you about himself in line with the job he's applying. So he says, I am a second class upper degree graduate of economics. And I intend to work with a what? I intend to work with a fast-growing private firm. This person is applying to a private firm. I am a second-class upper degree graduate of economics, and I intend to work with a fast-growing private firm where I intend to what? To give in my wealth of experience to help the organization achieve its goals and objectives. Now, if you write that kind of a thing, I'm a second-class upper degree graduate of economics, and I intend to work with a fast-growing private firm, where I intend to what? To give them my wealth of experience to help the organization achieve its mission and vision, or its goals and objectives. What you're simply telling us is that you came out with second-class upper from university, and you are looking to work with a private firm, where you add wealth of experience. Now, imagine if somebody submitted this CV now to a private organization and forgets, and a friend called him that FRS is recruiting, and he sends that same CV to FRS. When they are going through the CV, is FRS a private firm? This one shows that person already knows, he doesn't know what he's doing. That's why CV must be what? Edited. Anytime you want to submit any CV to any organization, don't just say, the last organization I submitted is a private firm. No, you must re-edit it in line with that organization you are submitting to. All right, so we say I'm a second-class upper degree graduate of economics. and I intend to work with a fast-growing private firm. What if it's not a fast-growing private firm? What do? You say, and I intend to work with what? See, if you want to work with a ministry, write ministry. I intend to work with a federal government organization. Because you are doing what? Because you want to apply with the federal government organization. Now, how about a situation where you have no wealth of experience? You graduated last year or you graduated this year, and now you're applying for a job that is asking for 15 years working experience. There are jobs that say they want 15 years working experience. There are jobs that say they want 10 years working experience. What will a graduate say? A fresh graduate, what will a fresh graduate say under professional profile? Since this other person said, I am a second-class upper degree graduate of economics and I intend to work with a fast-growing firm where I intend to contribute my wealth of experience. Are you seeing how this person is marketing himself? I told you that CV is an opportunity to do what? To sell yourself. This person says that he wants to give what? His wealth of experience. You just graduated last year, so you cannot come and write in your CV that you want to give wealth of experience. Where did you gather wealth of experience? Wealth of experience. You can't say that. So let me tell you what you say for a fresh graduate. You say, if you did not come out with second-class degree, maybe you came out with a past degree, don't use, as far as we are concerned in Nigeria and in Africa and in the world, once you say I am a past degree graduate, there's a way they look at you, or you say I'm a third class. So if you know you came out with third class, just avoid all this long grammar. Just come like this and say, I know there are some viewers at home now who came out with third class and they are wondering, sir, you just talked about second class upper. So listen, this is for you now. I am a graduate. Are you seeing your own? I am a graduate of economics. Nobody will ask you whether first class or no first class. You intentionally shove it. You did as if you don't know what you are doing, but you know what you are doing. I'm a graduate of economics, and I seek to work with whether it is a private or federal government, anyone, just fill in the blank space. I will leave a blank space here because you are the one that will choose where you're applying. I am a graduate of economics and I seek to work with a private firm. I seek to work with an NGO. I seek to work with what? A government parastatal. I seek to work with a ministry. They'll see the captivating part where this is where the organization is interested in. What do you want to do when we give you the job? You say, where I intend. This is a fresh graduate writing now. No experience, nothing. Where I intend to learn and then plow back or give back any grammar that is better for you. And where I intend to plow, or let me just use give back. Maybe that plow might be too big for us. Where I intend to learn and then give back all to the organization so that it can achieve its vision and mission. Now, let me show you something here. This other person was boasting about it. I told you, CV is opportunity for you to sell yourself. This other person was boasting about his wealth of experience. You don't have any experience, so your own now, you have to confess that where I intend to learn and then give back all. Are you seeing it? That means if you give me a job in your organization and you train me, because we have in the job training, am I right? We have in the job training. So if you train me, I am telling you that everything I learned, I am going to plow back everything for this organization so that the organization will achieve its goals, its vision, its objective, and the reason why the business exists. The organization can give you they can consider you for that particular purpose. Because these days, many people, once you train them, I don't know if some of you heard of the case of MTN and Glo, where MTN trained some of their staff, and their staff went, after training them, they now went to Glo because Glo pays higher than MTN. So after MTN trained them for about 2 years, they carried all the knowledge and went to Glo because Glo was paying higher. That case ended in the court. So, but you are not telling them that I'm not going to behave that way. Just give me this job. I will learn and then I will give you back everything to make sure you achieve your goal. They can consider you. This thing you wrote here is the same thing with somebody that says he has wealth of experience. The same thing. The only difference is that the organization will now know that they are the one that will first of all train you, then you become their property. Do you understand what I'm saying? Not a position where after they train you, you now run away. That's a very bad thing to do. All right, so this is what you write under professional profile. This is what you write, and your professional profile becomes captivating to any employer. So the next thing we have now, after your professional profile, is the one we call educational background. So let me show you how we write educational background. Remember something I said earlier. I told you that anytime we are writing our E in capital, our B in capital, then we have the right to underline. But if everything is in capital, there's no need to underline. Now, if you want to start your educational background, you can start educational background with your secondary school or your primary school, or maybe your BSc. If you have a master's degree, you must start with master's. If you have a BSc, you start with your BSc. So you start from top downwards. So let's assume this person has a BSc. So some people prefer to start with their school. They will write the name of their school first. It's not bad. Some people will write something like this. They'll say University of Lagos, comma, Akoka, Lagos State. Then they will not tell you the course they studied. They'll say BSc Biochemistry. So let me show you one secret in writing the course you studied. If you studied biochemistry and you graduated with a third-class degree, no need of writing it here. Chevron and Shell, sometimes when they recruit, they will say they want first-class graduates. So some people without first class or second class upper, they will not apply. They will say, oh, they say they want first class. You are making a mistake. If you came out with third class degree pass, apply, but don't write it there. Just leave it like this, BSc Biochemistry. But assuming you came out with a second class upper, come here and now say, I told you CV is an opportunity for you to sell yourself. So you write second class upper division. Let me tell you something. If you write this one and you feel it's not clear, open bracket again, do like this. They must see this 2-1. It's not easy. Anybody who says it's easy to get 2-1, the person should go and buy JAM form, do 100 level, 200 level, 300 level, 400 level, and then get 2-1. It's not easy. So if you have it, flaunt it. It's allowed. Now, the next thing you write here is duration. So you now come here and say, let's say you say 2018 to 2022, for example. Now, if you write 2018 to 2022, you're telling us that the course you studied is 4 years, because 2018 to 2022 is 4 years. Now, we have issues where people have spillover. We have issues where people stayed at home because of ASU strike. Listen to what you do. Everybody knows that biochemistry is 4 years. If you have spillover and you spend 5 years and you collected your certificate in 2013, you can't write, 2023, you can't write 2022 here. I don't know if you hear a situation of certificate scandal. There's a certain level you get in life, you begin to get enemies. So you have to be very careful with your CV. If you collected your certificate in 2023, you must write 2023. Don't say everybody knows that biochemistry is 4 years. They will say, I spent extra years. It's better for them to say, than for you to write 2022. Then when the organization wants to go and do background check, after 5 years, working with the organization, it's okay. Let's even check if all these certificates this man is claiming that he has them. And they go to the organization, they say, yes, he actually studied this course, but he did not finish 2022. He finished you have told a lie. It's equivalent to certificate scandal. You can go to prison for that, because you just told a lie. All right, the next thing now after this is your secondary school. Now, let me tell you one thing about secondary school. Anytime you want to write, you know the name of your secondary school. So anytime you want to write the name of your secondary school, if you attended JS1 to SS3 in one school, and then you wrote your WAEC in that school, then you are qualified to write the name of your school, secondary school, and then write WAEC or SSC or NECO, and then you write the duration of how long you stayed in that school. For only people that did JSS1 to SS3 in one school and still wrote WAEC in that school, and they are still using that result, those are the people that can come and write their school, write WAEC, and write the duration. Are we following? Now, how about people that did JS1 to JS3, and their parents, because their parents are transferring their parents from one state to the other, and any state that their parents go to follow them. Some people attended 3, 4, 5 schools, and they used to say, so how do I reflect all these schools in my CV? Will I write all the schools I attended? No, you don't need to write all the schools you attended. You only write the names of the school that gave you the certificate you're using. So if you did JSS1 to SS3 in one school, and then they expelled you in SS3, and then you went to another school to write WAEC, you can no longer write that school you did JSS1 to SS3 as the school that gave you WAEC, because your name is not captured in the big book that WAEC used to submit to every school. There's a big book WAEC submit to every school. Your name is not there, so you can't put the name of that school. Even if you did 6 years there, you write the name of the school that gave you WAEC. Are we together? This is one of the biggest certificate scandals that most politicians are suffering from today. It's not as if they are lying, It's just that they did not write their CV well, but because they have gotten to one level in life where you can use it against them, so they're using it against them. So that's be that for that. So you write the name of your secondary school, and then you write the duration. Now, Some people say they did JSS1 to JSS3, then they gave them junior WAEC certificate. Then they did SS1 to SS3. They are saying that is there need for me to write my junior WAEC certificate since I collected it from a different school, and my senior WAEC certificate again since I collected it from a different school? The answer is yes. The junior WAEC certificate is a certificate on its own, and a different school gave you. Senior WAEC is a different certificate, and a different school gave you. So you write the name of your secondary school that gave you the senior WAEC certificate, and the duration, the dates, how long you stayed in that school to get that certificate. Then you write the name of the junior secondary school you did, and the duration you stayed there, and the junior certificate they gave you. That's how we write secondary school. Are we together? Then for primary school, it's the same thing. You write the name of your primary school. Primary school give what they call first living school certificates. So you write the name of your primary school, write the duration, and write first living certificate. That is the same primary school that gave you the certificate, not the primary school you spent all your years. CV is about the school that gave you the certificate. All right, so that is settled. So we can move to, after educational background, the next thing is working experience. Working experience. Now, if you want to write your working experience, listen carefully to working experience. Working experience doesn't mean you should write all the places you have worked before. This is where most young people make mistake. When they are writing their working experience, they will write all the places they are. Yes, I remember when I worked with this place, I worked 3 years. I worked with here 2 years. That's not how we write working experience. So you write working experience based on the position you are applying in that organization. The job you've done before in line with that kind of position. Let me give you an example. If there was a time you work with a firm and you work as an accountant for 2 years, now you are applying to work with this firm. What position are you applying for? You say, I'm applying for the post of an accountant. Automatically, that place you worked before as an accountant becomes a working experience. Why? Because what you did there before is similar to what you want to come and do here. This is how we generate working experience. So you will not just say, okay, yes, I taught in a secondary school before. You taught in a secondary school. What position are you applying for in this organization? You say, I want to be a receptionist. A receptionist is not a biology teacher. It's not the same thing. So that working experience you are bringing is not correct. Let me tell you what employers do when they are screening CV. There are CVs, they say this one is rich. This one is poor. Now the question is, what makes a CV rich? So you have to listen to what employers call rich CV. Employers call rich CV a CV that contains only the things you have written in that CV are all in line with the particular job you're applying for. That means you will not bring any foreign thing and include just to make your CV look fine. No, you write only things that are in line with the job you're applying for. For example, now let me give you an instance. If somebody did this ad hoc job with INEC, there's this ad hoc job coppers used to do with INEC. They'll become like presiding officer. Some of them will become clerk, polling clerk. Now, if you were a presiding officer, and now you are now applying for the position to work in an organization where you will still do the work of a presiding officer. Let's say they want you to be the election umpire in an organization. Now, if you're applying a position to become an election umpire in this organization, automatically, that INEC job that you did, that you were the presiding officer, becomes what? The working experience. Are you seeing how we are generating working experience now? It is based on what you have done before that is in line with the job that you are applying now. That's how we generate working experience. So now the only working experience that you can write, irrespective of the job you are applying, is only NYSC PPA. Because NYSC PPA is a what? Place of primary assignment. Is a job that was given to you by the federal government assignment. So if your place of primary assignment is, let me give you an example, Ministry of Health. Let's say the Ministry of Health in Warri, in Delta State, or the one in Asaba, the one in Abuja, any of them, there's no problem about that. Now, this person now says his position there is supervisor. You see the way I'm doing this one now, supervisor. The person will come here and write function or duties. What are your duties in this place? So you can write duties here, or you write function. Anyone is okay. Now, you come here and write PPA, place of primary assignments. Now, if you are acted as a supervisor here, and now you are applying to become a cook in Sheraton and Towers, this person wants to be a cook in Sheraton and Towers. But this time, now the person says, okay, can I include my place of primary assignment where I was a supervisor that job there had nothing to do with cooking. Yes, you can still bring this one as a working experience. Why? Because this one is a mandatory job given to you by the federal government. Nobody will use it against you. It's allowed. But any other job that you have done that is not in line with cooking, now you are applying for the post of a cook. So you have to go and look for the places you have worked before that you are cooking. Bring those things, they become your working experience. Hope we are clear about working experience. All right, so that was how we write working experience. Then you write your functions and the duration, the year you worked there. So the next thing after working experience is what we call key skills. Key skills. Key skills are those skills. Key skills are divided into two. We have what we call technical skills, and then we have what we call interpersonal skills. Now, in your CV, you're not going to write personal skills and interpersonal. You're not going to write technical skills and interpersonal skills. No. What you're going to do is that if the job you're applying for, let's say you're applying to become a computer operator. If you're applying to be a computer operator, then you can now come here and say professional user of the Microsoft Word. You can now say you are what? A professional user of the Corel Draw, or you're a professional in Corel Draw,